to another episode of Coder Conversations. This is Kevin.
This is TC.
Man, how's it been going?
It's been good, man. It's been good. First week down of the new gig, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the first couple of days were a little rough, Uh, but I'm pulling through. I'm pulling through. I think next week I'll really hit the ground running. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's always interesting starting a new job because like you almost have to like reacclimate, create a new schedule. You know what I mean? Like the job starts at a new time. You're interacting with a whole bunch of new people. It's mentally taxing, actually.
Uh, the first couple of days can be, and I said the reason I say that is because like a bunch of new faces. You're going through a lot of the onboarding stuff. Like some days it could just be, for me at least, it was like when one meeting ended, another meeting began, and it was
Right.
just you're just going from Zoom call to Zoom call to Zoom call, and you have like three back to back, and you have to memorize all this information. Okay, let me do this. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Okay, I'm gonna do that. It's tough. It's tough, but it's it ain't bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's refreshing just having a completely different change of pace, like meeting new people and all of that.
Yeah, yeah. The I got past that fear of like, oh my gosh, like I'm here. Oh my gosh, this is this whole new world. Like, what's it gonna be like? And I'm blessed that I had what they call like an onboarding buddy, right? So like somebody
Right.
who I don't know if you have one of those, but at least in the situation that I'm in, or the company that I'm at, they give me this onboarding buddy, and we sort of powwow every Monday/Friday of the following week, and like,
Mm.
hey, how do you feel? How do you feel about your first week? Do you have any questions? And then I can just throw any question that I want at him or her, and
Oh,
they'll answer if they can answer, and if they can't, they can't, whatever. But
so like
it
an
makes me feel like
onboarding buddy, is that kind of like a senior person who's tasked with like integrating you to the company, or is it like
basically they're 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 more senior than I am, meaning that they've been at the company a little bit longer.
okay,
And by being in the company a little bit longer, they can pretty much answer any questions that a newbie would have, right? So I don't really ask anything too deep. It's just like, okay, how do you get acclimated to the code base, or how do you set up your laptop for this company, or how do what's the, you know, if I don't have anything to do, what should I be doing? Like, um, or if it doesn't look like a happy thing, what should I be doing? General questions like that.
yeah,
Nothing like too crazy. Um,
okay,
yeah, just somebody to like guide you.
hmm, okay, yeah. So my company is a little different, man. The manager kind of pointed me in the direction of all the different things, and then pretty much just let me loose. Hey, this is what needs to be done. Put the task on the
Wow.
Jira board type of thing. I guess especially at bigger companies, especially the more senior you get, you're not really
Yeah.
going to have anybody to tell you, well, they're hiring you for your expertise. So,
Right. Right. Right.
you can't really tell me much because I'm the so-called code expert.
Right. I think it's different in my case because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're working directly with, you're working directly on a project, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So with Method, it's more of like they have clients, and then they
Yeah,
they they assign you to a client, and so uh, the client has to basically, like, it's almost like a double onboarding session, right? So like even though I'm going through my onboarding with Method, I still have to go through the onboarding process with the client that I'm with, and I'm not trying to give out any names and say anything because I don't know if I
yeah,
can. So I'm gonna just be hush hush on a
right.
couple of stuff. Um, but there's a whole another onboarding process on top of that. So I haven't
Mm,
really dived into the code base yet.
yeah,
I think maybe in a week or two, I'll probably get my hands onto some code, or at least be able to look at it, and then have my walkthrough of things. And then look at a Jira board and start, doing tickets and stuff like that. So in the meantime, it's all brushing up on TypeScript and code. What's you call it? Standards. They're coding standards.
Oh, okay, yeah, man. How does it feel to have like senior dev as your title now?
Doesn't feel any different,
Yeah.
It's just it kind of just feels like a title. It's almost like getting a hamburger at McDonald's and then getting a McDouble. It's the same hamburger, but just with one extra patty. It's like it's the same thing, but just a little on top.
So you think like if you say you got like an architect role, would you feel like okay now this is different?
Maybe just because I know let me not say that I know. I feel like an architect or a principal architect is different from a software developer. And I think I've had this conversation with Sean, and I wish he was here to really clarify on things, but I think the responsibilities are like a little bit different than just like actual development. It's more like designing the schematics of how something should work and like building out the technology and like listing out the technologies and stuff. But to answer your question, I think if I did have that title, yeah, I'd be sweating bullets. Like I'd have a couple more gray hairs on my chin, just because the level of responsibility comes down to me, at least like at the foundational level, right? Like if I had to like set the foundation of building a house, and that house collapsed for whatever reason, they're gonna look at me like possibly because of whatever reason. Oh, the foundation here wasn't level. I'm like, oh my god, you didn't think about this. So yeah,
that's pretty interesting, especially like since there's no schooling on or real knowledge sharing on these type of roles. Like, what podcasts or what YouTube channel do you go to learn about software architecture? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I wonder why that is. Like, I wonder why. I wonder.
You remember when Sean said, you remember when Sean said when he got those roles, he pretty much just had to figure it out. Like,
yeah. But I wonder why like somebody doesn't like share that knowledge. Like, why isn't there a GitHub repo that has those type of resources? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there probably are. There probably are resources that we haven't bothered to look up. But in my mind, it would make a lot more sense to just be like, you know what? I'm gonna pass it on to anybody who wants to learn to be a software architect. Here's what I read and here's what I studied. Like that's what I did for JavaScript. Like that's how I stumbled upon like the You Don't Know JS series and all the other JavaScript books that I had picked up along the way. Yeah.
I guess those roles are kind of more niche. There's not that many software architects. You know what I mean? So it's like, do I want to spend my time writing to a limited audience?
I don't think it's about writing to a limited audience. Like for me, right? Like what I've gone ahead and I've like dusted off my GitHub and I've started pushing up code to my GitHub account. And I've decided to like go through the TypeScript documentation and then make examples of everything, right? Okay, this is a type, this is an interface, this is a how do you pass optional props to a component or whatever? This is a read-only prop, et cetera, et cetera. And it helps drill in my knowledge if I just write an isolated a piece of code that does exactly what I want it to do, right? That I don't have to dig through this whole project to find that one example. If I'm an architect, why wouldn't I want to leave notes for myself? Like it's not gonna all be up here unless you're just that guy, you know?
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking, like if you're gonna write a book and you want to be profitable, do you want to write a book that all of the software industry can read? Like say like 2 million, 3 million engineers, or do you want to write something specifically tailored towards architects? Which, it's
Okay.
probably a lot,
Yeah.
but probably like maybe
Yeah.
like 30,000 or something. You know what I mean?
When you put it like that, there are definitely there's definitely books and there's definitely material out there that's specific for like
Yeah,
that level of like seniority. For example, the algorithms design manual or something like that. It's a red book. Hold on, let me look it up. Um, algorithm. There's a book that I have. Um, or let me not even say that. Not the design manual. There's an algorithm book. Algorithms third series or something like that. It's blue and has like some leaves on it, but it's really mathematical and it gets really like sciencey. I think
right.
those levels, like that level of knowledge in a book, is tailored towards like the computer
Yeah,
science, the science side of software engineering, right? Like there's definitely niches for those type of books. So yeah, if you want to isolate yourself and say, all right, it's only for the hardcore techies, go ahead and read it.
yeah,
You know?
right. Yeah, I think you just gotta really completely be in love with that sector of software or whatever to write that kind of stuff, because like your sales are gonna be limited, but it's like, oh, I just want to leave this documentation for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know what? And it's an art to be able to break that down into something that's really digestible by anybody.
Yeah,
You know, it's a because how do you talk about like whenever I have a problem, like how do I explain this problem to like my sister? Right? Sometimes I'll rubber it up with my sister, and she doesn't know anything about code. But I mean, after the over the past probably year and a half, I'm pretty sure she understands, how state works and how, like little data structures work here and there
right,
because I've berated at her, for forever. But I always try to break it down to something that she can relate to. That's very like it's very
right,
layman. Not because I don't think that she could get it, but it's a it's a good skill to be able to explain yourself or your problem and not use a lot of jargon.
right. So
Yeah.
how's you been taking to it? As you've been picking it up,
Um,
or
I mean, she's. I could probably ask her. I'll probably ask her a couple of questions tonight. And be like, how, I'm having this problem. What should I do? And then just see what she
right?
says.
But does she
Um,
have interest in software at all? Not too much.
I've talked to her about it, and she might be a front end person, like strictly
Okay.
front end, like UI UX design,
Yeah,
like seeing colors and like moving pixels around and like that type of stuff. Like
yeah,
I don't think she'll get into like React. I think she'll strictly stay on like the design side of things.
right. More like a UI UX design
Yeah,
type.
I could see
Yeah.
that. I could see that. Yeah.
It might be a good thing to push her into. Well, not push her into, but like expose
Right.
her to. Hey, you like this? If
Yeah.
so, here. Because that
Yeah.
will complement what you're doing. Like you're more of a technologist and she's a designer. So
Yeah.
just like in companies, those two roles are separate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I'll see. I'll see. But I have a question though. Like, how do
Yeah.
you? Let's say you're in stand up and you running into a problem.
Hmm.
Do you ever feel like you have to uh, tone down or like um, dumb down your explanation of your problem, or do you just feel like you could just throw out like, oh hey, I'm running into this problem with Angular, or how do you approach explaining like a blocker, for example?
Yeah, I think you got to kind of identify the audience you're talking to. If it's other developers, you could get technical because they
Right.
know they're probably looking at the same code base as you. So you can say, oh well, such and such is blocking it. But if you're talking to non-technical people, you got to kind
Hmm.
of remove the code specificity and kind of say, well, we're having a problem with this component not communicating effectively with this other component, due to, you don't have to get like super specific, but like, due to like a interface problem, or something like that, like
Yeah.
almost something
Yeah.
they can visualize, like you say, you draw a parallel to something else,
Yeah. Aaron Estes, I'm checking out our comments, by the way. I'm not sure if you're seeing this. Aaron Estes says, if you ever have any client interaction, it's definitely important to be able to simplify. And that's sort of where I was
Yeah.
going, was like, because there's times where you'll talk to a client and then, or at least, I'll talk to somebody that's not technical, like not a software engineer. And then they'll be like, okay, what's happening with this project? I'm like, all right, I'm running into some setbacks. Like, I try not to get technical. I try to keep like this wall, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, and just try to like keep it real surface level. Um, like, hey, we're running into this issue, into a couple of issues, but we'll hopefully have them resolved by the end of the week, et cetera, et cetera. But um, they'll hold you to that though, especially like if you're freelancing, for example, they'll hold you
Right.
to what you've said, like this has to be done by this time, or if you say something will be fixed by Monday, you got to have it done by Monday.
Right. Yeah, I mean, communication is super important. That's like one of the reasons for this podcast is like just to improve our communication skills, because as coders, a lot of times we're just forced to go into our own world and focus on the problem at hand. We're not really speaking, so your conversational skills start to diminish a bit. So
Uh,
for me, it's good to just get out and talk. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah. I'm with you on that. Just but not to just to talk, because I've been there where I'll just talk just to talk. You
Mhm.
want to be able to make a point too. You want to be able to like you want to be able to like say what you want to say and deliver that idea, like transfer that idea from up here and make it make sense.
Mhm.
And when I transfer it over to you, you're like, okay, yeah, I get it, I get what you're saying. But sometimes I'll
Yeah.
say something and be like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So communication is super deep, man. Like all of those dynamic speakers that you see, they're following by a bunch of different principles. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Um, you know, they're able to illustrate their concepts so people can connect. I think one of the most important things to do when you're on a public platform like that is be relatable. Like people can connect to
Yeah.
you because they see like themselves in you and what you're talking about, and you know
Yeah.
even at a stand-up meeting, you know what I mean, you can learn to talk. And I always like to simplify things as much as possible, man, because like we have to realize that we're not here delivering like professorial lectures. We're not speaking to an academic audience where they want to know
Yeah.
every single detail. It's more so like paint the picture and make it clear. You know what I mean? Even if you have to forego some details,
Yeah.
like get the gist of it.
And that's one reason why I've been reading more, man. Like
Mhm.
before bed, I have a book. I try to keep I'm trying to keep like my phones and electronics away from my bedroom, just because I think that it's too much of a distraction. It's too easy to just pick up your phone and scroll, right? Or like
Right.
open up a laptop and just scroll. Um, and So I've been trying to read a lot more. I've been trying to read a lot more and just like and really absorb what I've been reading, because one problem that I've noticed, and I talked to my girlfriend about this, is that I'll I'll read some, even it's like if I don't get what I want to get within the
Mhm.
first 5 seconds of looking at a paragraph or whatever, if it doesn't hook
Mhm.
me, I immediately just I don't even retain it. I don't process it.
Right.
I just ignore it, and it's like I'm just scanning this. It's like I'm just scanning the book, looking for the point, instead of
You just I don't even
having
retain
the
it. I don't
having
process
the
it.
sorry having the author sort of take me through, the ride and then get to the apex of the journey. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it's just it's like my attention span is just really finite. It's like the gauge is
Right.
like this small, and as if I can't find what I want, it just shrinks like, and it's really little, you know.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm trying to read more, man. I'm trying to read more. I'm still chipping away at the first 90 days. I got a couple other books that I'm trying to get through also. Um, and yeah, I'm trying to read more and
So
just
yeah, you know how you mentioned the first 90 days. That's kind of
yeah,
like in terms of communication. That's like the first 20 seconds.
yep,
Um, like you mentioned, if you're not, if the first paragraph, the first few seconds of the thing doesn't catch your attention, you're gonna
yeah.
drift
You
off and go
just
somewhere else.
yeah, you drift off. You drift off, and you got to be able to hook that person's attention. And it's almost like know what you want to say, be clear and concise about it, deliver that idea up front, and then expound upon it.
Yeah. So yeah, Aaron Estes, there's a thin line that you have to walk to try to get them to understand the situation without being too technical.
Well, definitely, definitely. Like even if you have to like uh, shape it as if within umbrella terms, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, we're running into a couple problems. We're looking into a few things. We'll get back to you uh, in the following couple of days. We'll get back to you next week, right? You
Right.
don't get like so strict. I used to do this where
Hmm.
um, I used to give hard deadlines. Like I'll get back to you by the end of the day, and then
Right.
force like and put myself under a lot of stress. It's too stressful when you get into like hard deadline territory. Like
Hmm.
to try to get general, we're like we'll try to resolve it next week, right?
Right.
We'll and then but don't push it back another week. In that following week, don't push it back again. Like that should be your main goal to fix whatever problem that you have. Because then you have like
Right.
a snowball effect, right? It's almost like a ticket that rolls into another sprint. You don't want that ticket to roll into like a third or fourth sprint. That's no bueno.
Right. Yeah, man. I think it's, that's why it's important to communicate with people outside of your profession too, because if you're in a programmer bubble, you sort of get the impression that everybody understands what you're talking about. They know your terminology
Right.
because all other people you're talking to, they're familiar with that terminology. But then you take it to business or some other sector, and they're like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
they're not going to tell you they don't understand it, but they're going to be like, okay, yeah, yeah, okay, keep going.
Exactly. Yeah. 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 Okay. That's cool. Or they'll say something like interesting, right?
Right, right. I wonder why, maybe that's one of the reasons that, tech isn't like, a so-called sexy profession, because most people have no idea what we're talking about. Because, we're not really breaking it down for them. They can't really relate. You know what I mean?
Because it's an abstract field.
Right.
You can't you I mean you can't touch an app, right? I can this is a bottle. I know it's a bottle. I see it, I can touch it. It has a top, you know?
Right.
But when it comes to code, all people see is just words. And to
Mhm.
them it's just words. But to us it's a function, it's a class, it's an H1, an H2, and H3.
Right. So how do you give them visuals so somebody who has no idea about tech can like picture what you're talking about?
So what I'll do in that case, right? For example, when I'm talking to my sister about code, right? I'll she likes to use Instagram and Snapchat and stuff like that, and
Okay.
I break down that app. Like I try to break it down into like it's almost like I'm giving like a system design lecture, right? All right, you open up your app and then you see all these pictures on Instagram, right? And you're scrolling, right? That's a list.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. That's a list. And then yeah, so each element is tied to another element, right? So like
Mhm.
you got like that might be a linked list, right? Or that might be an array, right? Oh, okay, cool. So an array is just a bunch of my Instagram pictures, in one collection. Like you try to make it relatable, where uh, the app, the app that she's used to using, and she knows how that works, um, connects like she can relate that one thing with this data structure that I'm explaining.
Right.
So I try to do it that way. Take something that she knows and attach it uh, to code and make that connection. I don't get super deep.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, I mean that's definitely important, man. Communication is just super important. You remember we were talking to Sean and everything about
Yeah,
like leadership, and it's all about painting that vision. You know what I mean? And before I was a coder, I was an artist, and my
right.
problem would be that at a certain point I would be adding too much detail, and at a certain point it starts overwhelming your brain, and it
Yeah,
kind of makes things
yeah,
muddy, and it
yeah.
people start shying away from that. So
Right. And the thing that I've learned to do about or to do for that is you have to be able to say when enough is enough, right?
yeah,
So like for a pet project, right? Like when I used to what was I writing? When I would work on projects, I would always have these grand visions of grand ideas. Like, oh, I could make an app that does this, and then you solve that problem. Okay, what else can I add onto it? And then what else can I add onto it? And what else could I add onto it? Right? And you're just adding and adding and adding. But at a certain point, you have to be able to like stop and say,
right.
okay, I've learned, you know, whatever, and I'm done. Like, like
Right.
I've the app just does this and it does
Yeah.
that well, and I don't need to add anything more. If I want to add something
Yeah.
else, I can make another side project and have that
Yep.
side
Exactly.
project do that.
Finding a stopping point is always good, man. Like people don't realize like more isn't always better. Like you could do too much. Like my problem was I used to like work out too much to the point like
Yeah.
okay, I work out super hard one day and I'm out the rest of the week because my body is
Hmm.
just like wrecked. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
finding that balance. Okay, this is enough, and I'm not gonna
Yep.
keep going.
Yep. Yep.
Man,
It's enough.
but so slightly changing subjects, man. On LinkedIn, did you see that thing about the crying CEO?
I didn't.
Like,
I didn't. I
look at,
saw the picture of the crying CEO, but I don't know the
yeah,
story behind it.
okay, yeah, I seen a picture. I got like a vague idea.
Uh huh.
Uh, I guess he laid a bunch of people off, and he cried and took a picture and posted it on LinkedIn.
So the thing about I'm not gonna dig into him. He did what he
Yeah,
did. It is what it is. But I'm gonna say this: like,
yeah,
if if you're so heartbroken about something, right?
right,
If you're so upset about something, right? Okay, let me back up. When you're happy about something and you want to share it with the world, that makes sense. I'm happy about
yeah,
something. I want to share that with people. I want to share this happiness. If I'm sad about something, I don't want to share that with people. Maybe I'll
right,
talk about it with my girlfriend if she's like, "Hey, what's wrong?" Or my mom if they say, "Hey, what's wrong?" And I'll explain it to them. But I won't go online, take a picture of myself, and post about it
yeah.
because then you it becomes perverse, right? Where like
Hmm.
you take this emotion and you twist it. It becomes it be, and it may not be this way, but uh, my initial thought is like, what compelled you to want to do this? because there had to have been a separate idea that said, hold on, let me stop what I'm doing, take a picture and write about it, and then post it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's weird. Yeah.
With communication, man, you got to read the temperature of the room. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Like, I know you're feeling sad, but as a CEO, you can't make it about you feeling sad because people are
Right.
literally losing their jobs. You know what I mean? So people are gonna be angry because, like, oh yeah, so you're taking focus off of them and putting it on yourself. Like, it's almost,
Right.
people gonna be like, you're making yourself the victim, whether that's the case or not. Like, he probably wanted to show, hey, I'm vulnerable too. This was very
Of
hard for
course.
me.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
people that he had to let go and other people that just got laid off, they're
Of
like, dude,
course.
like, what are you crying? You're crying in your Bentley.
Right.
I might be homeless. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
may not have had bad intentions. It's just like reading the temperature, like, nah,
Yeah.
nah.
And that's the I think a lot of people are losing that in this day and age of social media, where it's like, where we don't read the room. We're
Right.
not reading the room, and we're just posting things just to post things, and that it's tough, man. It's tough. I think people need to start really double checking themselves when it comes to the social media thing. There's no friction when it comes to posting something, you know.
Right.
Like if you could post something, right? Let's say you post a video, but then you have to watch it before you post it,
Yeah.
you know. Then I think there'd be some friction, right? Like, hey, this is what you want to post. Are you sure? Watch it all the way
Yeah.
through. You really want to post it now? Okay, cool. Go ahead and do it.
I think maybe these social media apps should come out with a feature where, you can have your post read to you in like a robotic voice, like before you post it, just so you can get the tone or whatever. Like, is
Yeah.
is this what this post saying? What I think it's saying to other people? Like, in your mind, it sounds good, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
somebody else reads like,
Yeah.
are you
When you start
kidding
saying
me?
it out loud, and it's like, wait, what? Huh? Yeah. What are you talking
Right.
about? Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one too. I would say, I mean, it might not work for everybody. I think there's just some people that might just ignore it, just post it anyway.
Right. That's the thing with text, man. You can't really predict how people are going to perceive it because there's no tone behind it. It's just a body of text. So
Yeah.
in your mind, while you're posting it, you're feeling like neutral and happy. But
Yeah.
somebody else is like, why are you angry? Why are you mad? Why are you
Right.
disrespectful?
Yeah.
You know?
Why would you say that? Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. It's definitely a balancing act. It's tough. It's tough.
Oh yeah, I usually try to read my stuff like 2 or 3 times before I drop it. Like, how is this
Yeah.
coming off?
I usually have that feeling as I'm typing it, like as I'm coming up with the words, I'm like, okay, huh? Does that make sense? Is that saying what I think it's saying?
Right.
And or that doesn't sound right. That's something that
Mm,
I always stop myself. Like, that doesn't sound right, and I'll just stop it, stop, reflect, think about what I'm trying to say, and then say it.
right. Exactly. Yeah, I think what I'm saying, that's something really important, man, in this day and age. Because once you put it out on the internet, it's there. It can reach back like 20 years.
Yeah. Aaron says social should tell you to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And, did you hear about like Alex Jones? I think he got a $45 million judgment against him. So, you
Yeah.
know,
I heard something about that. I mean, that's the thing, right? You have a platform, right? And when you have a platform and you have people listening to you, what you say and uh what you say is very powerful. And 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 what you emphasize is also very powerful, right?
yeah,
So I don't know his whole. I don't keep up with him and all that stuff, but I know
Mhm.
that he was very much denouncing events that happened as if they weren't real, and that's to me that's not cool, right? Like if somebody lived through something, right, or somebody's family had lived through something, and you just denounce that it ever happened, right, and they're still processing the events, right, because it didn't directly affect him, right? If the
Right,
shoe was on the other foot, it'd be a different story, you know.
right.
But for him to take those people's recollections or lives or however you want to hear it, however you want to spell it, for him to denounce those events from happening, it's like, dude, what are you doing, right? And it is what it is. Like at the end of the day, and I did hear that that was probably one family, or maybe one family or two families that ended up taking him to court, and there's several others that have yet to happen. Is that true? Like there's several others in
Uh,
the
yeah, I'm not sure about that, man. I think the lesson is like, especially the bigger your platform gets, you have to be very careful. Like, you can't just say what you feel. You know what I
right.
mean? You can't.
Yeah. Like even right
Yeah,
now, like you can't say whatever you want to say, like
yeah.
because it's on the internet. People are watching. People are listening. Like it's yeah. You can't. You
Well, you
cannot.
remember the little LinkedIn story a while ago? I think she was like a recruiter or something, and she says like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I had a budget of 120, but she asked for
Yep.
85, so I only
Yep.
gave her 85." And
Right.
the internet tore her to shreds.
Yes.
Even though like she was being blunt and telling the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like trying to be helpful, but people took it in a way like, oh, okay, you're being shady.
Right.
Let's come after your job,
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, man. You can't. You don't know where that post is gonna end up. That's the thing. Think
Mhm.
about it like that. This link can be shared anywhere, right? And you're putting it out there for the whole world to see. If it ended up back on your boss's lap, right?
Right.
You would look dumb because you put it out there for the world to see. It's almost like people that friends of friends or friends of friends or whatever. They recorded doing something crazy on the internet,
Yeah.
right? And then they go to that person's profile, they dig through their wall or whatever, their feed, and they find their significant other. And they say, or they find their parents. Is this your daughter? And they forward that message or they forward that
Yeah.
video to their parents or whatever.
Right.
Uh, and then it's like if somebody really wanted to snitch, they could snitch.
Yeah.
It's real easy.
Yeah. I think it's important, like, to realize, like, if somebody's trying to encourage you to do something that you shouldn't do, you need to be strong enough to say no, because that can be permanently engraved in your history. You know what I mean? As
Yeah,
soon as they get it on camera, put it on the internet, it's stuck there. They can send it to anybody you know.
yeah,
So, don't let people talk you into doing stupid things.
yeah. And that's the thing too, right? Like, if do you think people know how to say no now
Not
in
really.
this day and age?
Like,
Yeah,
especially at work. Like, what if your boss asks you to do something illegal? Like, how many people are gonna be like, no, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Can't do that. You know, as opposed to just doing it. Like, hey, Terrence, yeah, we want you to code in this specific function that collects the customer's information. And you kind of know that, you know, that might be unscrupulous, but
Mm-hmm.
how many people will actually say, nah, I don't feel comfortable. If I gotta lose this job, I will. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's tough. I think didn't Facebook have something like that like a long time ago? Maybe not a long,
Uh,
long time ago, but like I remember reading something like that where a lady who worked in at Facebook said that she couldn't work there anymore because she realized the effect of the app um, on people's minds. Right, it was negatively impacting their mental health, and I think yeah.
yeah,
I gotta dig through it and see if I can find that article. But there was definitely I definitely remember hearing something about that.
yeah. I think what Facebook was doing was posting like different news articles to kind of like affect people's moods, like testing out how this stream on their feed would affect
Yeah,
that person's mood.
yeah.
So I can imagine like that would take a toll on her. Like, what if somebody killed themselves because you're making that person so depressed
Hmm.
by pumping a bunch of negative articles on their feed, or like you're inciting a riot or something because like you're pumping anti-government articles in their feed. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It's tough, man. But that's the thing, right? When you have that much reach and that much power, it's like they say in Spider-Man, like with great power comes great responsibility. Like you
Yeah,
have a responsibility as a company, um, as a you have a responsibility as a company. Sorry for yawning. I have early mornings. You have a responsibility as a company to be like, hey, is this product we're about to put out? How are how is our test market reacting? Are they reacting positively or negatively? And if they're responding negatively, like why put it out there for the rest of the world, right?
right.
Like,
And like, even with this podcast, like as it gets bigger and bigger, more and more people are going to tune in and kind of be influenced. So we have to be careful about,
oh, of
like,
course,
you know what I mean?
yeah, no, definitely, like for sure, you definitely have to look at like, okay, is what I'm saying right now, does it make sense? Is it right? Like I can't, for example, like if I do a lecture on TypeScript or something, like I can't be giving out false information. Like I have to be on it. Like it has to be like, all right, this is this is what it do, this is what it is, and this is how it does, right? Like that didn't make any sense, but like you get what I'm saying. Like I have to be like dot my i's and cross my t's to make sure
Mm,
that what I'm saying is exact.
right.
Because if I sit on this platform and spout nonsense, I'm teaching people the wrong way, you know?
So
And
yeah, how
that's
do you balance keeping it real with being responsible? You know what I mean? A lot of people kind of think keeping it real is just saying whatever you're feeling at the particular moment.
no, no, you gotta keeping it real. In my opinion, means being real to yourself as well. You
Hmm.
could keep it real with somebody else and say what's on your chest or whatever. But if you don't believe what you're saying, or if you don't follow what you're saying, like I could preach on high and say, oh, you you shouldn't do drugs and drink alcohol, and this is bad for you and that's bad for you. But then if I get off this podcast and open a bottle of gin and spark up whatever, right? I I just told you to do one thing, and I'm completely doing the opposite.
Right.
So I can't try to keep it real with you and not keep it real with myself. It just doesn't
Yeah.
it just doesn't work that way. It's a double edged sword.
I think like keeping it real is not just going along with what you feel at a particular moment. It's more so staying true to your principles, but also being responsible. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
say I'm in a crowded room, I might feel like just burping in the middle of the room, but should I
Right.
do that? No. You know?
Right. Yeah, you gotta have some type of not self consciousness, but just like
Like common sense, maybe.
common sense and self respect, right?
Yeah.
Like common sense and self-respect where it's like, all right, common sense to the point of I got this podcast microphone right now. I could, take your burping analogy, I could burp into the mic right now and just keep it pushing, right? Doesn't matter,
Mhm.
whatever. I'm here by myself. It doesn't matter. But then you have people listening. It's rude. You're listening. That's rude, right? And it's not hard for me to mute myself, right? And then also, it's just common sense. I'm about to burp. Let me turn. At least make the attempt, right?
Yeah.
To be less rude or to make it less obvious, right? And and then like just the self respect as well, right? Where like if somebody looks at you, or if I was to burp on camera and swear up and down and be ignorant and rude, the, the first thing that people would see when they look at this video or they look at the stream is like that guy sounds ignorant or that guy sounds dumb
Mhm.
or that guy is this or that, right? Like
Yeah.
that, I'm not respecting myself enough to be able to say is how I'm acting right now a good look for Terrence, right?
Right.
So yeah, you gotta you gotta have that balancing act of like, you know what, a little bit of A, a little bit of B, a little bit of self respect, a little bit of common sense, mix them together, you'll have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything just comes down to being smart, man. In terms of being smart, man, Rivian just lost $1.7 billion. They make those
They make the
electric
electric
trucks,
cars.
and
Yeah,
when I say being smart, it's like when people want trucks, they want something rugged. They don't want like something rounded and soft looking and
right. Yeah,
futuristic. You know what I mean? Like,
you got to understand your audience. You got to read the room,
yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
isn't Ford coming out with their own electric truck? Like
Yeah, yeah.
actual electric? Yeah, yeah,
And it looks like a Ford. It doesn't
yeah.
look like a futuristic space mobile.
Exactly. Because you look at it like I would like compare what they were building versus what the actual Ford is used for. Like they haul stuff. They
Right.
carry lumber or appliances or cement like or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's not meant. It is. It's a utility, right? It's not so much the fact that it's electric. It's the fact that or the way that it looks. It's the functionality that comes along with it.
Right. Let
So
me post a picture of this. It actually looks good. Like, I wouldn't mind getting one, but not at those prices. Let me see. Okay, let me share my screen. But man, yeah, is your car still holding up?
it's still holding up. Yep, it's still holding up. I'm not I might have to get an oil change soon. Maybe in
Okay.
September I'll get an oil change. But yeah, tires are good. Oil's good for the most part.
Yeah, does
Gas
your
is
light come
finally
on?
going down. Huh?
Does your oil light come on?
No. It doesn't come on.
Okay.
No. But I just try to keep it every 3 months. I'll just get an oil change.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
smart.
I don't know where I heard that, but I've just been sticking to it ever since. So like,
Right.
uh, see that was like a car. That's a car or a truck if you want to be precise. That's a truck.
Right.
But
And
that Rivature thing you showed me, Rivian, sorry, not Rivature. Um,
yeah, this looks weird, man.
that feels like a toy.
Right.
And then
It's crazy
also,
how like these companies can really just get it wrong. Like they can make a bomb and nobody looks at this as like, hey, I don't think we should do that. Or maybe they did and
right,
it just got overridden. You know what I mean?
maybe, maybe, but even it looks like the what's the word I'm talking? What's what I'm looking for? Not a hatchback. The back. I don't know
Or
what I
like the
don't know the
little
term.
mini SUVs.
It looks like that the part where you put all your stuff in the back, like an afterthought.
Mm. Oh, okay.
So if you look at a truck, like that truck that you posted,
Mm-hmm.
um, not that one.
Ford electric truck. Yeah, this one.
Well, they look about the same.
I think it's the headlights of the Rivian that just like looks really weird.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's the weird. That's probably what's throwing me off. If it didn't have that, it probably wouldn't look so weird. I'd have to see it in person too to really compare.
yeah, man. What's the best looking car to you?
To me, dang, I haven't looked at any cars in a long time, but like a Kia.
Okay, Kia.
Does Kia have an electric
Uh,
car? I think Kia's electric cars are pretty cool.
let me see. I know they have one coming out. Let's see. Is it
Oh my
this?
gosh, what kind of rims are those?
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Why they, I guess these companies are looking like let's really experiment with these electric vehicles. Like it just looks weird.
That looks weird.
And I think with these electric vehicles, the lack of a grill is just kind of throwing me off because I'm so used to them. But I know they don't need them because they're electric. But
Yeah, but it's the like we were talking about earlier. It's like just make it look like a car. Like
right,
when I think of a car, I think like, oh, cars have grills. Cars have. I mean, not all cars, right? But like some cars. And so, like, I don't. I might not even need a touch panel in the front seat. Like, do I?
right.
Probably. I mean, I don't have one. Maybe I'm not. Maybe newer cars have them nowadays. Probably. But
Honestly, I don't want all of this, all these electronics because if the screen fails, you're screwed. You know what I mean? You can't use
yeah.
like so say like this this dashboard here with your speedometer, that screen goes out. Like how can you drive the car?
Yeah, man, it's tough. It's
I,
tough.
you know if I just had like unlimited money though, this is what I would get. Well, boy, I can't get it because it's not in production yet.
A
But
Scala?
have you ever seen this?
Never heard of it. Oh, Cadillac? Oh wow, that's big spender money right there. That just screamed. I hate to see how much that costs.
Oh yeah, man. It probably gonna be like 250,000 or some obscene amount.
Dang, that's clean.
It's probably the best looking car I've seen.
That's nice.
But when they make the production model, it doesn't look nearly as good as the
Of
uh,
course, of
the
course.
concept.
Still, that's a nice car.
Oh, man, if I had unlimited money, I think I would be rolling in this.
Yeah, pull up to work in a one of these.
Oh no, I pull up to work in a Hyundai.
Oh, it's gonna be your weekend driver.
Yeah,
Dang, you
yeah.
got you got touch screens in the back.
Oh wow.
You see that?
Yeah, they had them on the back seat right here.
Yep. Yep.
Man, like, isn't it crazy? Like, this is something that we probably never be able to afford, but somebody can just buy this like it's nothing.
Probably. Yeah. When you got money like that.
like like them Dubai sheiks.
Man,
This is amazing.
when does it drop? Next year? This year?
Uh, I think I wonder if they're actually gonna drop it because this is like a concept car, and
Oh,
supposedly they put it in production, but they
mm,
never did. For some reason, like Cadillac, they make like the most beautiful concept cars, but their regular production cars, they don't look bad, but it's just like, yeah, it looks okay. You know what I mean? Their electric vehicle looks kind of cool. The Lyric, but for some reason, I just don't really like these mini car SUV hybrids. You know what I mean?
yeah. I don't know what's going on with the back there.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird to me. That's a little weird to me. I don't know what my next car is gonna be. Honestly,
No.
like
Okay. Yeah.
I know I'm gonna upgrade eventually. It's got to happen eventually. Like I can't keep riding this.
Exactly.
I can't keep riding what I'm riding forever. But I just don't know. I don't want a
Are
big
you
car.
going? Are you going electric or are you gonna
I
stick to
might
the
go
gas?
electric. I might
Okay.
go electric. Like
Hmm.
I don't see why not.
Let's see. What kind of cars have historically looked good to you?
In the past, Kias have looked good to me. Um, I don't like their new logo. I think that logo is just not very bright. Like it doesn't look good, but I like the brand. Um,
Okay. I think
uh,
I think they're releasing the they're continuing the Stinger again.
I haven't been a fan of those. You mean the three-wheel cars? No, not.
No,
That's the Scorpion, right? Right? Was that what they're called?
no Stinger. Yeah, it's called Stinger.
Stinger. Those are cool.
Oh, you talking about the three-wheel cars, like Polaris Slingshot,
There we go. I knew it was something with an S.
like this right here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think this would be kind of like like a fun toy to drive around, like maybe like Miami or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know about no everyday driver type of thing.
All right, hold on. Let me vehicles, hybrid, electric, upcoming vehicles. Why are all these cars? Huh? They're all sedans.
Mm.
All the electric cars from Kia are all like,
Oh yeah, those like family looking cars.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're all
I
family.
guess that's what sells now. Like
Mm,
especially with them high gas prices, like sporty vehicles. You know, they don't
nah, that
really
sucks.
get as much traction.
The K5 looks good though.
Oh yeah, I love how that looks. I bought a Camaro, man. I got like 2 years left on the payments, man. I can't wait to be done. I'm not buying another expensive car anytime soon, man.
uh, how long
You
you been
know,
paying it off?
I think I got like a 6 year loan, man, and
Dang,
it's down to like like 20,000. But each month it's like almost $900.
dang.
That's insane, man.
You're ready? You ready to have some money back in your pocket?
Man, $900 every month. I don't know what I would do with all that extra money.
Save it, man. save it.
Yeah,
That's sort of where I'm going. That's my mindset going into this new gig. Is like nothing changing.
saving. Yeah,
Nothing's changing. The only thing that might change is like I might buy some more workout equipment, but nothing recurring. You
right.
know, like more food.
What are your workout goals, man? You want to get like bodybuilder big or?
I'm not trying to get like jacked, but I'm trying to get some more size on me, like like the bigger arms, bigger legs. I just feel like I'm real. I know like my frame is small, so I'm not trying to get like become like a
Yeah, yeah,
square, but like
right.
just something, just so when I go outside, I'm not shivering. I don't feel like I'm ready to blow away with the wind.
And like, well, are you eating as well, like to put on weight or?
Yeah. So like one thing that I'm like really trying to be strict about is like pushing myself to eat properly because I could work out as much as I want to, but if I don't eat right, it's not gonna work. And there's no trick to it, you know. You gotta have the right meals and meal prepping and meal planning and stuff, and that all comes down to just having a system in place. And so
So,
yeah, I gotta get that going too.
yeah, we need to find a nutritionist to bring onto this show because
That'd
everybody
be
said eat
cool.
healthy. Oh
That'd be
yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna look for that, man. Because everybody said eat healthy, but what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is it
No, definitely. Like I've found websites and stuff that say like eat healthy, and they'll like break it down for you, but like really understanding what it means, like really understanding like good carbs versus bad carbs, like that's happened like to that granular level. It is you don't got to get like super technical, but like just have a basic understanding and overview. That'd be nice.
oh yeah. Now, who else do we need to bring onto the show? Like, I've been looking into like entrepreneurs and
Um,
stuff like that.
um, I think entrepreneurs would be cool. Uh, yeah, nutritionists would be cool. Um, maybe people who have left tech too. I think
Okay,
that'd be
yeah.
cool. You know, like
Like, why did you leave and what did you
yeah,
do?
yeah. Like why they leave? What do you do now? Like like maybe if Brian does end up bowing out of tech and doing something different, like he could explain it like why.
Right. So Eric said, I knew one VC at a former company who still drove his 1960s era Ford pickup truck around while the other VCs all drove Porsche or similar sports cars. He also said, save your money. I know a lot of well-off people who still drive older cars. Oh yeah, that's smart, man. Because like I remember I was driving and I seen like a Lamborghini on my side, and with all the traffic, we were driving the same speed. You know what I mean? It's not like
Hmm.
Lamborghini just sprouted wings and he was able to fly above traffic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron
Oh wow, there's a
said,
lot of comments and stuff that
"Oh yeah,
wow the the chat blew up.
oh yeah." Yeah, Aaron has been very engaging, and we got Eric here as well. Yeah, we appreciate y'all for
We
tuning
appreciate you
in.
guys for checking out, man.
Yeah, what do you think about those tiny homes?
I don't like them. I need a home.
Yeah,
I need a home that I can move around in, you know? And
yeah,
yeah, I need a home that I can move around in.
yeah.
I
Almost
don't want
feels
to wake
like
up. Hmm.
yeah. It's like it feels like like these corporations are trying to put us in like put everybody in little sheds. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like here's
yeah.
a little box that y'all can be in, but it's a pretty box, but there's no.
Yeah, put a family in a box, see what happens.
You're right,
That's what I'm
exactly,
thinking. For one person, it's fine. Put a family of four in it and see how things are.
exactly.
It's still gonna be a little.
And
It's
then
gonna be tough.
the housing market is kind of dropping, so. might be a good time to jump in on something. Well, I would say maybe wait a year.
Yeah, I'm thinking uh maybe in the next year or so. Yeah, 14 months, 16 months, give or take. I'll be looking. Probably get like a first home loan, first home buyer's loan, FHA loan, something like that.
Yeah, man, isn't it crazy though? Like how our generation, we're approaching our 40s, and we still haven't really owned a home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs of owning a home. All I know is like take out the trash, or cut your lawn, you know,
Oh
chores,
man,
chores aspect of it.
like
I don't know the whole. I don't know all the
the
deep
thing
lore.
about owning a home is it's a lot of expenditures, man. Like the cool thing about renting is the landlord, they take care of a lot of stuff. So like recently, I posted a thing about $745 electric and gas bill this month,
For
and
you,
yeah, so
bruh, $700. What do you? What?
I'm not doing anything, man. Like
You
I
running
think
a
they
crypto
discovered
farm?
they discovered like a gas leak. You know what I mean? And I guess gas was just like leaking somewhere.
Just leave it. You didn't smell it?
I smelled it, but like I didn't know like whether it was like, oh, is it something like the AC, is that kind of old, and you know putting
Man,
that old smell in the air.
700 bones. You got
Yeah, it's
$700
crazy, man.
gas slash electric bill. You got $900 car. Man, that's
Yeah,
$1,600.
yeah, it's crazy, man. And but like the landlord, they gotta pay. They have to pay the plumber or whatever to fix it. You know what I mean? As opposed to if I own the home, I would have to pay.
Man,
But the benefit is my mortgage would be fixed. But if your mortgage is like $3,000 or $4,000, like, do you want to, what I mean? Imagine having to earn like $170,000 for the next 30 years to be able to pay your $5,000 mortgage. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's tough. But I
You
mean,
know, it,
go ahead.
if I was young and single, like in my 20s or something, I might just live out of RV or something. You know what I mean? Do that for like 3 years and save a bunch of money.
It, hindsight is 2020. When I was in my 20s, I was just like studying to become a developer. Right, that was my hustle, and I didn't really have a dev job, but like I knew what I wanted to do and stuff. And now that I'm in my 30s, 10 years later or whatever, like I'm glad that I'm here and stuff. But like, what am I trying to say? It's circumstances are different when you're younger. You know, things are different.
Mhm.
For me, it was. I don't know if I could live in an RV at 20.
Oh yeah, not now.
That's just tough. Not now. Yeah, not now. It wouldn't fly.
Yeah, I guess sometimes you just gotta pay more to just be comfortable. You know what I mean? You can't be like super cheap.
Yeah,
You
and
know
that's
what I
that's the
mean?
hard part too, man. Like you have to pay more to be comfortable. That's what sucks.
Hmm.
Why can't? I mean, well, let me take that back. Everybody has a different idea of what it means to be comfortable. Let me say that first
Right.
and foremost. Two, um, everybody's idea of being comfortable is different. So,
Yeah.
um, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think about what I'm trying to say before I say it.
Mhm. So yeah, you know why like it doesn't ever feel like you're getting ahead is because to
Yeah,
get those big tech salaries, you got to move to an expensive city,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know,
But
costs
I
everything.
also think that like nowadays like that's changed, that's shifted. And I won't get too deep into this because we've already hit like an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like with the way that the world is right now, with like working from home and everything being remote,
yeah.
you can earn a high salary. but you have to manage your time and be proficient and be good at what you do, be the go-to guy, be good at what you do, manage your time, and and you can make that six figures or whatever, and and your life doesn't have to really change, you know. uh, Meaning that the standard at which you feel your base level of comfort can stay here and your income can be up here. Your base level of comfort does not have to match your
Yeah.
income. It can, your base level of comfort can be just right here, maybe a little bit higher, right? So you're not like just barely making it or barely being comfortable, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to meet this it is this level of income or whatever. And I
You
think
know.
that's where people get things confused, where you're you're let me not say people, but that's where I think some individuals get things confused. Maybe it's more so the younger generation, where it's like, I have money, I have to spend it. I used to be that way, where like my grandparents used to say that money's burning a hole in your pocket, right?
Right.
Meaning that like you have to spend it, right? You don't just like pocket it away and just put it away, and just let it
You know
just,
what's in,
yeah.
you know what's interesting? A lot of people are actually moving to Mexico. Like they work
Mm.
remotely, move to Mexico, and because the cost of living there is so cheap, you know, they're able to pocket a lot more money. But you know, they're pricing the locals out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That's the tough part too. Like when I would go down to Honduras, some places would charge me, my girlfriend calls it the American tax, where they know I'm American. They're not gonna charge me the local price. They're gonna charge me the American price. And so the funny thing is if I give my card to my girl, she would they would know, okay, I can give her the local discount or whatever, and
Yeah,
I would get, because any transaction I did, American tax. Any transaction
yeah,
she did, local tax. And so
yeah,
it's interesting. It's interesting. I think like you could do that. You could move down to Mexico or wherever, and the money would double or triple or whatever. But don't be surprised when they look at you and know, I'm going to charge this
yeah.
guy more because I know from where you're from.
Exactly. So yeah, man, it's difficult to just like really get ahead, but also feel like you know you're living a great life. You know what I mean? Because you're probably gonna have to make you make this great salary, but you're gonna have to move to like a lower cost of living city. Whereas, do you really want to be there? Like, does somebody who's living on the beautiful beaches of California, do they want to move in the middle of the country somewhere? You know what I mean? Do they want to move to a desert? Maybe they have to just to be able to save money, but you know,
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
are you comfortable like moving from LA to say like, okay, Austin? Well, Austin's expensive. Say like Houston.
I'd have to see what's out there. I have to see what it's like out there, and if I if I'm comfortable going out there, you know. Uh, I don't know. I can't say for sure. I can't say for sure. Maybe.
What would give you like incentive to move? Like, okay, it's time for me to get out of here.
Uh, I don't know, man. Something serious would have to happen for me to want to move out of LA.
Yeah,
I just like circumstances would really have to like get dire. Like
hmm,
if where I'm living right now like didn't feel safe, crazy people coming in and out of the building,
yeah,
security gates not working, whatever. Yeah, it's time to move. But then like if trouble was to follow me from where I moved from here to somewhere else and then follow me again, okay, maybe it's time to move. You know,
yeah,
like something that to that level. And I don't have any any enemies or anything like that. And I'm blessed to
Right.
say that. Um, somewhere else that follow me again. Yeah, something serious to that degree, or maybe even like if things just got too crowded, like even more
Yeah.
so. Like if there was like double the people here suddenly, or in the next like 5 years, like okay, it's time to go. It's just too much. If I wanted
Man.
like a slower life, a slower change of pace.
So what is it? What are some of the things you really love about California?
The weather's not bad. The
Okay.
weather's not bad. Um, it's more so familiarity. You know, like I
Hmm.
know I understand where the beaches are.
Hmm.
I know, if I want to go to movie theaters, I know the best movie, or I don't want to say the best, but I know some really good movie theater places. Um, I got some nice taco shops that I go to. It's more so familiarity. Like I'm not opposed to
Yeah.
moving, but it's just
Okay.
I would need somebody to sort of introduce me to another place and show me like, all right,
Right.
this we have this and we have that, we have this, and then to be there for a month or two and just sort
Yeah.
of just chill there for a month. This is my life for the next 60 days.
Hmm.
Can I make it work?
Man, it's amazing. Like sometimes you don't know what you're missing out on until you actually move, like or visit other places. Like
Yeah.
recently, I visited Oklahoma. Like I would never think like Oklahoma would be as nice as it was. Like it's more like the southern Oklahoma,
Hmm.
Broken Bow.
Yeah.
Man, it's like tons of like pine trees. Like the weather's like about 10 degrees cooler than here. They got like hills and lakes.
Nice.
Um, you know, like when you think of Oklahoma, you know how the cartoons and movies they
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the little what is that, the little dust thing tumbling,
Yeah. The tumbleweed.
tumbleweed. Yeah, it was nothing like that. It was like green and lush. I'm like,
That's
wow, I didn't
wow.
know Oklahoma was like this. Well, let me see if I can pull a picture up. See, what is this? Okay, here we go. Let me put this on the screen. All right, yeah, can you see the screen?
That's crazy. That's
Like
nice.
you would never think like, hey, this is Oklahoma. You know what I mean?
That's real nice.
Oh man, yeah, it was amazing. So it's like, how many of these places exist, but nobody really knows about them? You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
we're a lot of times we're kind of stuck in our area because we're just so used to it. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned, like we're
Yeah. The
familiar with it.
familiarity aspect of it. Yep.
Yeah, I think you know what I'm saying. If I get a bunch of free money, I want to start like traveling more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
what
I
am
feel
I
you.
missing out?
Yeah. What are you
Let's
missing
see.
out on?
Yeah, I think yeah, it's a good place to end, man. What do you think?
Yeah. I think so too, man. Definitely.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, Eric and Aaron especially. Thanks for interacting with us.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you.
we'll catch everybody next time. Peace.
Peace.